What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Side Note News, real stories, real context across news, culture, and politics. Let's get into today's story. A Lincoln University track athlete has been charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action after prosecutors say she fatally stabbed her boyfriend, who was also a student athlete at the same university. The victim has been identified as Kevaughn Goldson, 23. He's a senior on the men's track and field team. The suspect is Denita Jackson, also a senior on the women's track and field team. This happened in Jefferson City, Missouri. Now, here's a quick background. Before we get into what investigators say happened, here's a quick snapshot of who these two were on campus. Denita Jackson is listed on Lincoln University's roster as a sprinter, originally from Berbice, Guyana. On the track side, she's recorded competitive times in events like the 100 and the 200 meters, and she has also been a part of the relay squads as well. Kevaughn Goldson, he is listed as a sprinter, also originally from Kingston, Jamaica, and he is a graduate of Kingston College. Now, track databases show him as a 200, 400 runner with recorded marks including a 21.66 in the 200 and a 48.91 in the 400. So this wasn't just a headline about two students. These were two athletes, two gifted athletes whose names were regularly on rosters and meet results. So according to a probable cause statement filed in Cole County, Missouri, Denita Jackson allegedly told police she stabbed her boyfriend, Kevaughn Goldson, following a confrontation inside her Jefferson City apartment. The documents state that Jackson returned home shortly after 1 a.m. She had went to work earlier that evening. She wasn't feeling well, so she left work and came home early. She got home shortly after 1 a.m. She believed Goldson was inside her roommate's bedroom, and investigators say that she used a hair clip to unlock the door and proceeded to enter the room. Once she opened the door inside, she allegedly found Goldson and her roommate. They were in bed together. Allegedly, they had clothes on, but they were nevertheless in bed together. And immediately after that, as is natural, an argument followed. From there, the court documents describe the situation escalating into a physical altercation. Jackson then told investigators that Goldson pinned her down and began choking her. She stated that she grabbed a knife during the struggle and she stabbed him in the back. According to the probable cause statement referenced in reporting, Goldson sustained stab wounds to the chest and back. He was then transported to the hospital for emergency treatment, and he later died during surgery. Prosecutors subsequently charged Jackson with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. She was, of course, taken into custody following the incident. So Jackson's statement to police includes a claim of self-defense, specifically that she feared for her safety during the altercation. Now, in the state of Missouri, self-defense claims are evaluated based on whether there was an immediate threat of serious bodily harm, whether the force used was proportional, and whether the individual reasonably believed deadly force was necessary. Now that charges have been filed, investigators and prosecutors will look closely at medical evidence, injury patterns on both individuals. Apparently, Kevaughn had injuries that were comparable with that of a physical altercation, defensive wounds, and they'll take any witness accounts. The roommate that was in the room at the time was a witness, and they will also take forensic evidence from the apartment. Now, this is where the case will ultimately hinge. Now, what is interesting is that this case is unfolding at a time when incidents involving athletes and domestic disputes have drawn national conversation. You may recall Olympic sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson. She was involved in a reported domestic altercation with her boyfriend, Christian Coleman, and that was an incident that was widely discussed across all sports media. That situation did not involve any fatal injuries, fortunately, but it reignited public discussion about how quickly relationship conflicts can escalate. Now, to be clear, that case is separate, different facts, different people, different circumstances. But what these situations have in common is a broader reminder: when relationship conflict turns physical, the consequences can become serious very quickly. And when the people involved are athletes, often young, high performing, under pressure, those incidents move from private spaces into public headlines fast. Now, back to this case. In the Lincoln University case, prosecutors are focused strictly on what happened inside that Jefferson City apartment. Was it self-defense? Was it excessive force? What does the forensic evidence show? Those are the questions that will shape the direction of this trial going forward. Now, what happens next as this case moves forward? Expect an initial court appearance, bond hearings, formal charging documents, and eventually motions around self-defense arguments. University officials have acknowledged the incident, and they extended support services to students affected by the loss. For now, the legal process is underway. This is still a developing case involving two student athletes whose lives and families have been permanently impacted and upended forever. We will continue following confirmed updates as they come through the courts. If you appreciate clear breakdowns without the noise, support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. New episodes cover news, culture, and politics as the stories develop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.